Okay, so we're going deep on this one. It's a bit of a head scratcher, We're talking about the death of this Dr. Grissom, and it's weird, like really weird.
Yeah, 911 call. Talk about a fire. Firefighters rush in, but no fire.
Yeah, no fire at all. But Grissom, dead, and it looks like, well, he burned to death.
That's the thing, right? It's that contradiction that just hooks you. No fire, but all the signs of.
Exactly. So today we're diving into this X-Files episode. Sleepless, it's called. A lot of, synopses, summaries, all that. And we're going to break it down for you.
The goal, to give you the core of this creepy story, all the good stuff, without having to wade through everything.
Right. You want the good stuff, the insights, the facts, you got it. So picture this, right? Grissom, in his last moments, he's terrified. Calls 911, talks about smoke, a hallway engulfed in flames.
And he even uses a fire extinguisher. Tries to fight this fire that
wasn't even there. When help arrived, no fire, just a body. A body that seemed to have burned from the inside out, almost like his body itself was the source of the flames.
It makes you think, doesn't it? The power of the mind. Could someone really believe themselves to death?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Now, this whole bizarre situation, well, it catches the attention of a certain Fox Mulder.
Of course. A 911 call like that. Right up his alley.
You know him too well. But there's a twist, right? They've got this new guy on the case, Agent Alex Krycek.
Krycek. Interesting.
Yeah, new dynamic there. But Mulder, he trusts his gut, so he calls in Scully. Needs her expertise for the autopsy. He senses, even then, that something's deeply, deeply wrong.
It's that Mulder intuition. Always a step ahead, even with a new partner in the mix. And calling Scully in. Smart move.
Oh, absolutely. Scully, she's the voice of reason, science, facts, but even she finds something off. No fire damage, but she calls them secondary characteristics of being burned alive. It's like, and this is going to sound crazy, his body believed that it was burning.
Whoa. That sends chills down your spine, doesn't it? The mind-body connection, it's a powerful thing.
It really is. And it gets weirder. A second victim, Henry Willig, Vietnam vet. He bumps into another former Marine, Augustus Cole. They call him Preacher.
Preacher. Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
And then suddenly, Willig, he's hit with this terrifying vision. Charred figures, Vietnamese civilians with weapons, and he's gunned down.
Wait, gunned down? By who? Those figures.
That's the thing. Those figures weren't real. Just like Grissom, the autopsy shows Willig's body reacted to things that didn't actually happen.
So we have two victims, both seemingly killed by their own minds. There has to be a connection.
There is. Mulder digs deeper, finds out both Grissom and Willig were stationed at Paris Island. And get this, Willig was part of a special recon force unit, J7.
Special recon force, so we're talking elite military deep cover stuff.
You got it. And guess who else was in that unit? Augustus Cole, our Preacher. Mulder and Krycek, they go looking for him at a psychiatric ward, but he's gone, vanished. But they learn something disturbing. Cole, he could mess with other patients' sleep, like he could keep them from sleeping.
So this Preacher has a past, a dark past, and he can manipulate sleep. That's creepy.
That's putting it lightly. And then things get even more shadowy. Enter a mysterious figure, X, an informant.
Oh, right, like Deep Throat, but different.
Exactly. X slips Mulder some top secret files, reveals this clandestine military program, the goal, to eliminate the need for sleep in soldiers.
No sleep. Is that even possible?
Apparently so. And the kicker. Dr. Grissom was involved in this program, deeply involved. X tells Mulder that Cole, he hasn't slept in 24 years. 24 years. And points him to another J7 survivor, a man named Salvatore Matola.
Wow. 24 years without sleep. That's got to do something to a person.
Yeah, no kidding. And what's interesting is that this whole no sleep thing, it wasn't just pulled out of thin air. The writers, they took inspiration from real military research, combat drugs, psychological conditioning, that kind of thing.
So there's a kernel of truth in there. A bit unnerving when you think about it.
Totally. Okay, so Krycek, he tells Mulder they've got Cole cornered. Finally, right. But when they get there, it's chaos. Two cops have shot each other.
Shot each other? What, like friendly fire?
No, like they turned on each other, and Cole vanished again.
That's strange. Really strange.
Yeah. Mulder, he's got a theory, and it's a doozy. He thinks Cole can project his thoughts, his nightmares, into reality.
Project his nightmares, like make them real for other people.
Exactly. He sends those documents to Scully, by the way, wants her to see what he's seeing.
Mulder, always thinking ahead.
Yeah.
So he thinks Cole's making people see things, and then they react. violently.
That's the idea. And it's crazy, right? But they finally find Mottola, and his story, it's dark.
Oh boy, here we go.
He confirms it. The sleep deprivation experiments on SRF-J7, they went rogue in Vietnam, did some terrible things.
Terrible things, like what?
Murdered civilians, even members of their own platoon. And he names names. Grissom and another doctor, Francis Girardi, they were behind it all.
So Cole, he's a victim too. A victim of these experiments.
Yeah, a walking nightmare, literally. And now, Mulder, he figures out that Girardi is the next target. They race to the train station, Girardi's last known location.
Oh, this is tense. A race against time.
And Mulder, he sees it. He sees Cole shooting both Girardi and himself. But then Krychek finds him. Mulder's fine. No Girardi, no Cole.
Wait, what? So what did Mulder see?
Krychek doesn't believe him, of course, thinks he's losing it. But Mulder insists on checking the security footage. And there, on track 17, they see it. Girardi, attacked not by bullets but by visions, Cole's nightmares, the SRF-J7 unit, only this time they're wielding scalpels.
Scalpels, like a surgeon. That's a creepy detail.
Right, a callback to the experiments. They find Girardi, badly hurt. Mulder goes after Cole, finds him, tries to talk him down, get him to tell the truth about the program, but then Krychek shows up, and he shoots Cole. Kills him. Shoots him, just like that. Mulder tries to stop him, but Krychek, he thinks Cole was armed. It was a Bible. Cole was holding a Bible.
Oh, wow. So Cole's story dies with him.
Yeah, and it gets worse. Back at his car, Mulder finds that the document from X, it's gone. Stolen. And Scully's copy, too.
Someone's cleaning up loose ends.
Big time. And the final scene. We see Krychek reporting to the cigarette-smoking man. Turns out he was a plant all along.
Krychek, a double agent. That's a twist.
A big one. And he says something chilling. He says Scully is a problem. A bigger problem than they ever imagined.
Whoa. Scully. What makes her so dangerous?
They don't say, but it's clear. Krychek, he was sent to infiltrate Mulder's life to sabotage him from the inside.
That's cold. And it sets the stage for a lot of tension down the line.
Absolutely. So let's pull back the curtain a little, talk about the making of Sleepless. It's episode 4 of season 2, right?
A classic Monster of the Week episode, but it does a lot more than that.
Yeah, introduces some big players. We meet Alex Krychek for the first time, played by Nicholas Lea.
Nicholas Lea. He brought a certain slipperiness to Krychek, you know? You never knew where you stood with him.
And then there's Mr. X, played by Stephen Williams. He becomes Mulder's new shadowy informant.
It's funny, you know, Mr. X was almost a woman. They actually cast another actress, filmed some scenes.
Really? I never knew that.
Yeah, but something wasn't clicking, so they went with Williams. And it's hard to imagine anyone else in that role now, isn't it?
Absolutely. And Krychek's betrayal. That wasn't a last-minute decision. He was always meant to be a double agent working for the syndicate.
From the very beginning. So every scene with him, there's this underlying tension, knowing what we know now.
It adds a whole other layer to the episode, doesn't it?
Totally. And then there's the whole no sleep concept. That wasn't just science fiction, you know. They took inspiration from real military experiments, combat drugs, psychological conditioning, all that scary stuff.
Yeah, there's a real-world parallel there, which makes it even more unsettling.
And let's talk about Tony Todd. He played Cole, and man, he was amazing.
He's got this presence, this intensity. You just can't take your eyes off him.
Totally. He's Candyman, you know. He brought that same kind of, I don't know, gravitas to the role.
Made Cole a really memorable villain, even if you kind of felt for him.
Absolutely. And the writer, Howard Gordon. This was one of his early X-File scripts. And look at him now.
24, Homeland. The guy knows suspense.
He knows how to tell a story. And even in this early episode, you see that talent shining through.
Yeah, for sure. Now, you might have noticed that Scully, she's not in this episode a lot.
Yeah, that's because Gillian Anderson was pregnant at the time, so they had to write her out of a few episodes.
And it's kind of interesting how that real-life event shaped the story, you know? Gave us more Mulder and Krychek, more of that uneasy partnership.
A happy accident in a way.
Yeah.
It added something unique to the season.
Totally. And there's a rumor, you know, that Duchovny and Lea, they didn't really get along on set.
Oh, really? I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, they say Duchovny, he really played up Mulder's distrust of Krychek, maybe too much method acting, I guess.
Well, it worked. Their scenes together are electric.
Definitely. Now, the way Cole attacks those hallucinations, it's pretty inventive and scary.
It's psychological horror at its finest. It plays with your sense of reality.
Yeah, and it gets under your skin.
Yeah.
Makes you question what's real and what's not.
Which is a big part of the X-Files, isn't it?
For sure. And you know what's cool? The inspiration for the episode came from the writer, Howard Gordon. He had insomnia.
Really? So he was living the nightmare in a way.
Kind of, yeah. And Chris Carter, he had this old script from season 1 about the perfect soldier.
Yeah.
So it all kind of came together.
From real-life struggles to fictional nightmares.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating process, isn't it?
Totally. And Carter, he loves this episode, considers it one of his favorites. It did well with audiences, got nominated for an Emmy for editing.
Well-deserved. It's a well-crafted episode. Creepy, thought-provoking.
Yeah, it sticks with you. So, stepping back, we've got these soldiers robbed of sleep, haunted by their past. One of them, he weaponizes those nightmares. And then we've got a double agent pulling the strings.
Government conspiracies, the scars of war, the thin line between reality and illusion. Those are some heavy themes.
Yeah, it's a lot to unpack.
But that's what we do here, right? We dig deep. And for you, the listener, the takeaway is this. Don't take things at face value. There are layers to everything.
Exactly. Question everything. Who's pulling the strings? What's hidden beneath the surface? It's a good reminder in this day and age.
And it makes you think about the price of progress. What are we willing to sacrifice in the name of, national security, humanity?
Right. In this case, it was sleep, a basic human need. And look at the consequences.
Chilling, to say the least. And as we wrap up, here's something to ponder. How do we know what's real anymore? With all the information out there, all the manipulation, how can we be sure we're not living in someone else's nightmare?
It's a scary thought, but a necessary one, I think. So thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.
Stay sleepless, everyone.
Wait, no, don't do that. Get some rest. We'll be back soon enough.
Good advice.